Your time is up.
Who you calling pinhead?
Well, this certainly got interesting really fast. Subaru, you're not gonna like this. The Toyota Corolla GR has finally been unveiled. And guess what? I was there this time. Yeah, for my first time in 10 years of doing automotive YouTube, I got my first ever invite to an unveiling of a car. And honestly, out of all the unveils, it was probably the right one. We have a lot to talk about. So I got on a plane to LA for the unveil and I got a front row seat, or I was standing, but you know what I'm saying. So I'm gonna break down the unveil, what this means for the car industry as a whole, because this car is a tidal wave to the rest of the industry, and how it affects the other guys. I'm looking at you, STI. Let's get started. Side note, I just want to quickly mention before we get started, this weekend on April 9th is my first ever drift event. And it's gonna have a halftime show. So it's gonna be like a roller coaster where you have a single rider line and a tandem line, so you can just go whenever you want. No sessions, none of that. Just have a bunch of fun on a really fun layout on the track at Lanier Speedway this weekend. And last but not least, the link for driver sign up had some corruption of it last week. So if you did try to sign up, if it didn't work, it works now. Thank you so much for your patience. But I really hope to see you guys there. I really appreciate it. And everybody's been so supportive about it. So thank you so much. So in LA, I got to the front row, saw Mike Tripp come out to do his speech about the history of Toyota and also what car they are about to unveil. And they just came out swinging. It was awesome. And I was like, now that's an unveil of a hot hatch. A hot hatch that could do a donut pretty easily on a pretty terrible surface, so respect. First things first, this isn't a collaboration car. This is 100% Toyota. The Supra had BMW as a partner, and the GR86 had Subaru as a partner, which is highly ironic right now. The engine is very close to what we predicted, but I actually predicted lower horsepower. The car is a 3-cylinder turbo engine that makes 100 horsepower per cylinder. That's amazing. The total is 300 horsepower out of a turbocharged 3-cylinder. Side note, I saw a leak online about what the bottom end of this engine looks like. Look at those beefy freaking sleeves, my guy. Those are tough boys. I'm so excited to see what people do with this engine. The car is all-wheel drive with limited slip differentials, so the all-wheel drive is utilized all the time. Side note, when the unveil was over and they just kind of opened the gate for journalists to come see it in person, like up close, it was an absolute madhouse. Like, you couldn't even get close to it. Usually with journalists or photos of new cars, there's this very respectful half moon around the car. Like, everybody can get their shot of the car at a certain distance and they can do their thing. But some guys would just walk right in the middle and just disrespect everybody, be like, I'm getting the shot first. Also, I saw the car at Formula Drift the next day, which was a huge treat. Not to mention, congratulations to Ryan Turek for winning FD Long Beach in a Corolla GR chassis. Super awesome stuff. So let's talk about Toyota and how I think they have this holy trinity now. The GR86 is for the ultimate fun and balance, and just kind of being like dumb and silly. You can just slide it around and have a ton of fun. The Supra for more power, that's kind of like the big daddy of the lineup right now, but they're adding a manual, supposedly, and that is 100% a response to the Z most likely. That's just me guessing and speculating, but if I was in Toyota's shoes, that's why I would have put the manual back in the Supra, because the Z was kind of this obvious choice for a lot of reasons. It was a cheaper car, it had a manual transmission, but the Corolla GR only comes in manual. When's the last time a car only came in manual? Like, the first thing I think of is like the S2000. And that was 20-something years ago. Oh my God. And the Corolla GR with its rally history. They are calling it the GR Four, but much like the Celica GT4. And Toyota is showing that they are knowing their history. They're looking back at their history. Believe it or not, I went down to breakfast in my hotel the next morning after the unveil, and Mike Tripp, you know, the guy who did the unveil, was super kind, came right up to me and he said, hey, first of all, thanks so much for coverage of the GR, which I wouldn't, you know, that's amazing. Thank you, Mike Tripp. And at the same time, I asked him a pretty important question. What changed at Toyota? What was the magical spice that changed everything? And he said, good leadership. Good leadership at Toyota got passionate people behind the big desk and got people really in the weeds of it, saying, look, we have tons of cars in our lineup that can pay the bills for some fun cars. So let's take the chance to build the fun cars. They're a modern Japanese sports car company now. And that's amazing. I really believe that the JDM culture is coming back, and it makes me so excited. Toyota kind of shot themselves in the foot for a while because they almost had too good of a legacy. You know, with the Mark IV Supra, the Celica GT4, all these great cars from back in the day, and then they had this weird space of nothing. By having this weird space of nothing, them not having anything made them look kind of weird in the optics, like, what happened? Very much like Mitsubishi. I don't think they fell from grace like Mitsubishi did, but good God, Mitsubishi. But they know their history, great branding, the GR4 name's great, and at the same time, they're not comparing it to an old car. If you know what I'm trying to say. The new Integra doesn't look like a DC2, so please don't compare it to the DC2. If you want to call it the Integra, call it the Integra, and just say these are the way things are now. The Corolla GR, even though it has a different motor setup and everything, it's still a spiritual successor to some of the older cars, and you can see that. The interior is definitely an upgrade from the factory-based car. Great stitching, awesome seats, a massive dash screen, and they also have some physical knobs, which is great for modern cars. Another point about the Corolla GR that I want to kind of talk about is the impact on the hot hatch industry. They filled a void with the hot hatch culture left by many cars. The Fiesta and Focus ST, along with the Mazda Speed 3. The only main competitor on this car now truly is the Veloster N, and you could count the Civic Type R, but it's priced pretty high nowadays. But I want to say very clearly that the Veloster N is a great car, and unfortunately the branding doesn't help it. They could have named it something different. Anytime I bring up the Veloster N, they go, ooh, Veloster, gross. Not, oh, that's that new insert cool name here, hot hatch that Hyundai built. And they're held back by that name. That's my personal opinion, because I try to convince people that it's a great driving car, and people won't give it a chance because it's a Hyundai and because of the Veloster name. So the Corolla already has an edge over that when it comes to the branding and its history. And I saw a few people online say about the 3-cylinder engine, about, you know, having 100 horsepower per cylinder, and saying that's not impressive. Because, for example, some people with like turbo Civics and stuff like that, you know, aftermarketly built cars, kind of like my EG hatch build, they're like, well, my turbo Honda makes 100 horsepower per cylinder. Yes, I get it, but from an OEM manufacturer, that's pretty much unheard of. That's amazing. You get the reliability and pretty much the guarantee from Toyota. Like, it's a Toyota developed engine, it's going to be reliable. That's not the issue here. So it's impressive that a 3-cylinder is making the same horsepower as some of the other hot hatches we're making with 4 cylinders. Nuts. Not to mention, Toyota is bringing something unique to the table by having this 3-cylinder engine. It's a unique experience to drive and a unique experience to own. It's kind of like this weird bragging right. If you were to beat somebody in the Corolla GR, you'd say, well, I just beat you with 3 cylinders. How does that make you feel? And let's talk about the elephant in the room that a lot of people are kind of weirded out by the Corolla GR, and that is the 3 exhaust tips. Now, Drive did a great article about the 3 exhaust tips and why they exist. So let's dig into it. Before I misremember it, I'm just gonna read it. From the Drive article, they said, we asked Toyota and it turns out all 3 tailpipes are real and functional. There are no fake vanity tips here, and the center exhaust is actually a purposeful engineering choice rather than something the design team did for sporty looks, which is good. The center one is for high power, said Toyota Chief Engineer Naoki Sakamoto. I am so sorry if I said your name wrong. I respect you. About a certain engine RPM, there is a valve. So they open that and it goes straight to the outside of the car, which reduces back pressure and achieves the 300 horsepower. So that is a element of how they're able to make the 300 horsepower. Pretty cool stuff. I know that a lot of people call the center exhaust a USB-C center exhaust, but still, if you see it in person, I dig it. I like it. It's a unique design choice and I like it. Seeing people's reaction to the Corolla GR at Long Beach FD was fascinating. People trying to figure out where's the missing cylinder, right? And also at the same time, I have never in my years of doing this, probably in the past 5 years at least, never overheard so many people say, how can I get one? Going up to Toyota reps going, how do I get an allocation? I want to order one right now. It wasn't one of those cars where it's like, I'm thinking about it. But now for the first time in years, the car industry has almost too many cool cars to choose from. And I'm not complaining. It's great for everybody. Competition breeds better sports cars. And with that competition comes greatness. And the Corolla GR is sign of competition. And it's amazing that its beautiful, beautiful timing of the void of the STI is gonna be filled with a 3-cylinder turbo engine that I couldn't be more excited about. And last but not least, if you aren't feeling it yet because you don't think it's coming to the United States, it's coming to the United States. It's very similar to the GR Yaris, but unfortunately the GR Yaris, when it comes to just functionality and everything, it makes way more sense for that car to be in Europe and maybe down in Australia, not here. The Corolla makes way more sense here, and I understand why the Yaris isn't coming here.
I like your car.
The Corolla GR, what do you guys think about it? Put it down in the comment section below. I really appreciate you guys watching this, and wow, what a long time coming. Could not be more excited for a new hot hatch coming to the United States that's super unique and different. By the way, Toyota, I appreciate the invite to the unveil and literally letting me speak my mind. You guys never got offended by anything I said, even if it was contradictory to, you know, how I felt about a few things. Over the years, Toyota has been so cool with criticism, and especially when it came to the Supra with the whole BMW partnership. And I just appreciate them for listening to the people and building a car that people actually want. And the fact that the Supra is now gonna go head to head truly with the Nissan Z, good on you, Toyota. Proud of you, bro. Thank you guys so much. I upload on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and I will see you guys next time. And take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye. Sometimes in life, you just gotta slide by your problems. On April 9th, 2022, come out to Caffeine Octane presents ThatDudeinBlue's Just Drifted. With a car show, drifting all day long, and a halftime show full of drift games and stunt driving. So there's family fun for drivers and spectators alike. And if you can't get enough, head out on Friday night for Caffeine Octane's Friday Night Drifts at Caffeine Octane's Linear Raceway. Tickets on sale now at caffeineoctane.com/just-drift-it. That's Caffeine Octane presents ThatDudeinBlue's Just Drifted.